Yeah, it looks like Miracle Makers definitely want to take that away from Amaterasu. Just take something off of the table that is still there, considering all of our pick bans. Once again, I don't know if Kanashi mentioned it, but Zacian, Zoroark, Umbreon, Leafeon, Espeon are the bans for today. So that's what we're looking at. Both teams don't want the bird.
Yeah, get that flightless bird out of our game. Now, Miracle Makers is going to have a chance for that first selection. Often, when there's no defender banned away, yeah, this is usually what teams like to go towards. However, in tournaments of recent past, it has been all Lapras all the time in that first spot. Now, Roland, I don't believe, well, I'm sure they are capable of playing it. I don't want to discredit them for that, but Roland has kind of been well known for some of the more creative defender picks in the competitive Unite community. Instead, we're going to be going over towards the Lapras. If you're given Slowbro, you may as well grab one of the most powerful defender Pokemon. Again, I said it here on broadcast once before, Shell Armor is a ridiculous passive. So strong, but Amaterasu not taking away the Delphox means that I love Delphox is in that role. However, it could be I loved Elphox, which is a bit of a breakup story.
Man, I miss her too. But this is exactly how it's gonna be going down. We'll see how this ends up going. I may have killed Zoinks. Oh, my bad. But yeah, it's just cool to see what these teams are going for. Once again, a little bit more towards the A9. The Delphox pick is not something that you see every day, but once again, having those quick resets, having one of the faster Unite recharge times will give them that option to play into it. So I feel like that is going to be another thing to keep in mind.
And they're going to grab the Blastoise and Aegislash. So Blastoise is definitely a very iconic Nudo Pokemon. Nudo loves to play one of these Kanto starters in their team compositions. Taking that one away is going to make Nudo's composition really interesting. Delphox, Aegislash, Blastoise is going to be the damage trio for Miracle Makers. So all kind of a lot of bulk with only Delphox being a bit more of that squishy target. But you know what? Alola Ninetales, I think particularly really likes to deal with that bulk. And with a front line like Roland and Nudo, we are going to be looking at a very brawly game number 1 between Miracle Makers and Amaterasu.
Yeah, and I think that's their main game plan. It's going to be let the front line brawl, and then if we happen to find picks in the back line, either utilizing the Delphox or the 8-9, both of them are really solid picks. So it's going to come down to that, and we'll see if Amaterasu and Miracle Makers will just be scrapping all over the place, or if we are going to just allow them to chill in each lane, snowball where they need to be, and we'll figure out where they go from there.
A bit verdicts out a bit, I believe, on the Clefable held items that are the most optimal on that Pokemon. Well, Miracle Makers believes that it is stacking time. They are going to be running the special attack specs on this Pokemon. Only stacking member of Amaterasu is, that's right, it's not Eat Fan this time. Rolling it down is going to be playing the Aos Cookie on top of their Lapras. So only a few Pokemon looking to try to get some stacking stat buffs. Believe the Blastoise from Miracle Makers is doing it as well. But Clefable with stacking items means that Moonlight is going to go absolutely burr, Kogashi.
Yeah, and especially in a brawly comp like this, having Sustain is going to be insane. Insane Sustain. It's going to be the name of the game.
Insane Sustain.
Not a rapper.
No, yes, yet. We do not want to take that opportunity away from you before it actually begins. But game number 2 is starting between Miracle Makers and Amaterasu, and it's going to be starting pretty soon, actually. I'm hearing that maybe not exactly right now. Kogashi, what do you think of the draft that actually just went down? Any clear winner between the two teams?
I mean, both teams have a water Pokemon, so we're good. No, but
oh, good.
Overall,
we have recovered. I like it.
Overall, I do think that they are very scrappy teams. Both teams want to fight, want to brawl all the time. True. And if you happen to get those, it wins the games, you know? But I feel like it's going to come down to spacing and damage versus the sustain of Clefable. That is the two things we have to worry about.
Yes, the sustain, can it out-heal the crazy spike damage that maybe Alolan Ninetales will be able to provide? Also, Nudo on this defender arc on the Snorlax, making this double defender composition start to work, as JL's Hoopa, that's right, the stuff of legend has hit the Sky Ruins, and is ready to cause some hurt. Boomy gonna get an early stack in for the Blastoise. That's one stack for the special attack specs.
Yeah, just trying to get that damage straight through. You see the Clefable or the poor Clefairy just getting chipped away a little bit. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be one of those matchups where you have to watch where the supports get their power spikes, because those might be the difference between winning the team fight, winning the first basement Reggie, or not.
Yeah. And wow, despite having so many defenders on our battlefield right now, I'm counting them, that is 4 in total. No invades happening whatsoever, especially with defenders that like to run that experience share item. Often you'll see those players immediately pivot towards the enemy central area, especially when a Cub Fu and a Fennekin, the 2 Pokemon, immediately taking up that spot. Oh, a tough spot for Jogatu fan as Hone Edge goes down, as Antpoise is held to be the lone defender on this goal zone, but 3 members of Amaterasu have invaded this space, and all 3 are going to score.
Yeah, they are just going to straight dunk in there, and that's a little bit of a JL trick that they did there. It's that they showed the Urshifu top for a second just to be like, oh, okay, he's up here, it's fine. But just being able to rotate quickly down to bottom was really big. Nudo also going to find one along with the help of JL. JL's going to be able to bail out here and bring it right back. Now, Nudo trying to absorb some of this damage, being a little bit of a nuisance in the central area. He's trying to just survive. The water spout going right on top to try to get that damage through. They're both trying to get into the hyperspace hole, and they are going to be able to escape. They're coming back. What? Okay, so they're still going straight through. Looking at the Clefable, going to go ahead and bring that down. Meanwhile, Ant Poison just trying to maybe get a little bit of damage straight through. They are going to be able to leave out there.
I mean, the only damage that can truly punish them is the Delphox, who has just had to spend so much time farming despite all of this invasion strategy from Amaterasu. Nudo will rest up, but all that's going to do is buy some time. You know, just slacking off will not buy you any extra, as JL actually finds a way to get a knockout onto the Delphox, returns through their Phantom Force in the enemy central area, and this invasion is relentless from the side of Amaterasu.
Yeah, and you just see that they already have both of the buffs here for JL. Another scrap going down at bottom, but that's the thing. You have to worry about JL this whole time. You don't want him to snowball and get to that level 9 super quick, but the way how they are slowing up the progress of Miracle Maker,
you gotta hit the... Oh,
it's just too much.
I'm sorry, I'm watching a player try to score while an Ndidi is just punching them in the face. It's just children. Yeah. Heat fan not able to score there, but they did get to their level 9. So, whereas the poor Delphox on the side of Miracle Makers had to suffer through Amaterasu's relentless invasion, Heat fan on the other side having a bit of a beach vacation in their central area. Wicked Blow lines up, the Regice finds the knockout, Doublade is down, Alolan Ninetales charges forward as the Slowbro is also knocked out, and now Miracle Makers are caught running away yet again.
Yeah, you start seeing them push on even further in, trying to get out of there, but the rapid spin is not going to be able to allow them to survive. A quick overdunk coming in from the side of Amaterasu, and now they're just looking to eat up even more space. Might even go ahead and head up to top, or they might just force the issue down at bottom even more.
And Roland can take these 1v1s quite consistently. Of course, Lapras, a Pokemon that is not only great at defensive stats, but also self-recovery. However, I Love Delphox drops the big Unite move on top, and Urshifu is there. Yeet fan comes in clutch with the secure, and Roland says, get on, we're going for a ride. Charges towards the enemy goal zone. One goes down as Amaterasu ain't done yet. Aegislash is going to able to get a Citrus Berry, but Clefable is out. Aegislash brought all the way to their enemy goal zone, and Roland is no worse for wear. That goal zone is brought down to 1 as Regieleki has also made it that goal defenses.
Yeah, this is just priming, setting it up for a great overcap. 2 seconds left. They're going to go ahead and let the Lapras break with 39 over. That is just ideal for the sake of Amaterasu. Just continuing on forward, breaking the goal, setting the tempo, and just giving even more space for the Hoopa to operate.
And of course, rolling it down on this Lapras, the only player to be running a stacking item as well, makes sense that they will be the ones to do the scoring deed. Now, finally, a clear central area for the side of Miracle Makers, which means they have to forfeit any positioning they would otherwise have around that basement Reggie whenever it spawns in. A bit of vision is gained from Roland, who makes it towards that jump pad. They're a bit of a routine as they move in and out, spotting where the enemies are, as Trainer is actually hanging out here in the enemy central area as Alolan Ninetales. They're pretty confident in their level lead that they'll be fine.
Yeah, and they are just getting chased around a little bit, but they're trying to return the favor back onto that Blastoise. But You see Law trying to keep themselves up with this Moonlight, but once again, I feel like this team is very team fight oriented for Miracle Makers. You want to take that scrap and utilize the Moonlight to sustain in these fights, but the fights are getting isolated out, allowing the Urshifu to really find certain spaces, and JL just being able to bring everybody back home. That is their way of bailing out, and this is exactly what's going down. Fanciful Fireworks trying to keep them off from pushing forward, but that's not going to stop the rest of the team. He may have stopped a little bit of the healing, but the damage is still there. The dunks going straight through. Now the fight with the poor sword just going to get a hole punch straight through it. And now Amaterasu just continuing on with that speed and the damage, just making sure that they cannot get anything going their way.
Yeah, these are the mainline games. You are not going to be resistant to any fighting moves. However, I guess a dark move would be super effective. So we sort of are in that same spot. Now, Regieleki, the next major objective to hit the battlefield. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds, this will be the last one that enters into it. Now, if Miracle Maker is able to secure this, they maybe climb a little bit farther up on the point stratosphere. And of course, those scores will help them level up as well. Amaterasu, though, if they secure this major objective, it opens up another win condition for their late game prowess. Oh, he just slashed already down as Alolan Ninetales finds a big knockout. Follow Me Fable does take a lot of aggro, but Amaterasu not too worried about it as they have charged all the way to the back line as Roland chases down the Delphox. I love Delphox back in the respawn as Amaterasu has broken every single goal zone but the home one.
Yeah, now they might focus their attention onto that as well. You have the Regieleki here. You have the rest of your team healing up and getting ready for that final stretch, but just taking away as much of the space as possible, taking away any of the opportunities as possible, making sure that they are too focused trying to get Roland instead. That might be the play. So there they go. Amaterasu just forcing Roland to just draw some attention away, maybe force them to not look at where the real action is, and that is them taking that Regieleki. The rotation down. There's that Hoopa hyperspace hold to go ahead and rotate the entire team down there. They're going to go ahead and back out, get some healing, see if they want to go ahead and take on the Ray or just want to walk this Regieleki straight through.
Now, if I'm Amaterasu and we have over a 400-point lead, I would probably make the play call to rip this Rayquaza on spawn. Even if you lose it, you still have a chance of winning the game. But it looks like Amaterasu playing a bit more for the macro, an aggressive positioning there from Nuno, knocks up 2, but they try to yawn. They find Aegislash and Blastoise, the 2 main targets, as Trainer's there to capitalize on the damage. Big special attack into that sleeping target.
Yeah, and the bailout, trying to get the Lapras Express. They let the Regieleki walk, and then they just Lapras Express straight down into there. That is exactly how they're going to capitalize on it. Once again, the hyperspace hold, the Hoops Unbound going to actually bring everybody back. They're also going to secure that as well. So that is just going to force the surrender. I mean, that is the way how it would go, and that is one of the things that we were mainly afraid of when you do have the Lapras and the Hoopa. You could Lapras Express the team in, score in as much as you want, and then go ahead and back out however you want as well. So really well played by Amaterasu, keeping the tempo up, breaking, taking space, and not allowing them to really take the team fight that Miracle Makers ever wanted. I sit in a pool of water, and I listen to some music, and then reset mentally. That is honestly the best way to go about it. Obviously, not everybody has a pool to just soak in, but
so true.
I do. That is the play. Get a pool.
Okay. All right, get a pool, get us in a draft because game number 2 is about to start. This time, Amaterasu on the purple side, meaning that they get that first single selection. Miracle Makers is going to have a chance to respond with the double pick. Does Amaterasu try to shut down the double defender by grabbing themselves one in that first pick, or does Miracle Makers have a chance to slow bro Lapras? We'll find out right after this in 8 seconds. I'm not going to break, I'm just counting down the ban phase.
Yeah, yeah, well, we'll see if Hoopa is the pick. It looks like Miracle Makers is definitely not allowing that to happen, and Amaterasu carefully banning out the bird as well. So I do feel like that is a safe pick.
All right. Well, it seems that Amaterasu is allowing no funny business to be happening here. Instead, a slow row being hovered for the first spot is going to mean that Miracle Makers will most likely get a Lapras, but they will not get the 2 most meta-defining defenders we have ever had grace our game.
Yeah, they're at least going to go ahead and take away the slow bro, making sure that Swiss Army knife of a Pokemon is going to be secured for them. Miracle Makers going to go with the Lapras and the Mew. So Once again, solar beam options are still here. Just a lot of damage, a lot of mobility as well. Feels like that is going to be the play.
A lot of mobility, light screen, one of the best versatile moves in the entire game. And then we don't talk about this one too much, but we probably should talk about it more, is how good Electro Ball Secure truly is. Electro Ball Secure is absolute bananas. And Mew is a one of the Pokemon that does get to gain it. Of course, Pikachu as well, but Mew really the one that's a bit more versatile with it. Eldegoss being selected by Amaterasu, and with Hoopa and Eldegoss now gone, Miracle Makers may have to try to pivot towards something like a Clefable yet again. Amaterasu now hovering over the Alolan Ninetales again. Trainer really picking up this Pokemon in fashion, as Nuno going all defender all the time so far, unless we see, of course, a swap after the picks of the draft phase.
Yeah, and this is the Venusaur pickup here, followed by the A9. So a little bit trying to answer the Solar Beam with the Solar Beam, you know, possibly. We'll see if that is going to be the play. And the Comfey going to be the final pickup. I feel like that is an interesting one. We haven't seen it in a while. Not necessarily not one of the more meta Pokemon to pick up here, but does supply a lot of HP when used properly. And also has a little bit of crowd control still if you want to utilize those Miracle Leaves that way.
Of course, and it is so tough to play against a really good Comfey player who knows the optimal timing of those maneuvers. It is really, really strong. And not to mention, the Slow Smoke battle item is so fun on Comfey. And of course, I'm saying fun in the aspect of it is like pulling nails out of your skin when you were playing against it, but it is a fantastic time when you are the one playing it. Now, I'm interested to see where this Comfey is going to want to pair. They're going to have Mew, Delphox, and Buzzwole as their three kind of damage core options, but I do not want to discredit the option of having just a Comfey Lapras combination for the majority of our game. Lapras, of course, a Pokemon that does not have to evolve, so not really into that late game scaling, and of course, the healing it already has when doubling that up with Comfey is absolutely absurd. Now, Kogashi, we never see it. We truly never do. But is this a Sweet Kiss opportunity? Is this Comfey Sweet Kiss in game number 2 from Miracle Makers?
I feel like that can be an option. And we were talking about this. We were talking about this earlier, weren't we? Miracle Makers wants to go with a team that is very early game focused. So if they do want to go ahead and grab whatever levels they can, I feel like that might help them out later down the line as well.
Oh, definitely. Getting more levels early is definitely good. Now, again, a bit of a role swap here. I don't know if this was Amaterasu, an early decision in this tournament, saying, let's put Roland on the attackers and Nudo on the defenders, but I don't know. It's been pretty good so far. Venusaur this time going to be the attacker Pokemon for Roland. Now, one score does go in for Tutua on this Buzzwole, but being frozen in place, and then a red buff Eldegoss with the boosted auto slowing their movement speed every time. It's just too much to deal with. JL is confident in their ability as they are spinning on their enemies, and that's going to be a pretty good early start for Amaterasu.
Yeah, JL just letting him know I'm the better flower Pokemon here.
True.
And just making that the play here. But overall, once again, Miracle Makers has 4 Pokemon that don't need to evolve.
Right.
They are just already there. They don't have to really worry about levels in order to get to certain power spikes. But it's just easier for them to not have to worry about hitting certain evolution points. The only person who really does have that problem is the Fennekin right now. But we'll see if that is going to be something that they can really mitigate and handle, especially going into the central area.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to deal with JL, who it seems that it doesn't matter what support Pokemon they are playing, they are always going to be causing problems. They are gonna go down. That was 3 members from Miracle Makers respond in kind to shut down this invade. This is a really good adaptation from Miracle Makers so far. We got what we wanted out of the draft that you were just saying a second ago. Very few leveling Pokemon in terms of late game power, and instead early power spikes, and they're defending their central zone area very, very well. So I like this new look for Miracle Makers in game number 2.
Yeah, and I feel like that was the adjustment. It's just like, make sure that we don't let we allow our central area player to get the levels that they need, stay in the fight as much as possible. Just don't let JL kind of have his way with the central area. And that's what really cracked it open last game. And this is a really good adjustment coming in for this game, though.
Yeah, so far, so good. Nudo actually get a defensively eject button away, but only at level 6. It's not like they have a Unite move to really use in tandem with that battle item anyways. Delphox and Mew, two very powerful special attacking Pokemon, but of course, the secure they're going to have against this first Reggie is going to be a good one. The problem is, Yeet Fan's single strike Urshifu is who they're squaring up against, and that is probably the best in the entire game. JL, again, must have a bit of a vendetta against this Buzzwole. You said best flower Pokemon. Pollen Puff's a bug move, so maybe also best bug Pokemon?
Yeah, that is very, very true as well. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe it just has a vendetta. It's just like, I have the better grass and bug moves. I'm just going to make sure that it stays that way. But we do have the first Reggie objective spawned up here. Both teams starting to scuffle it out, but the Delphox is going to secure that with the Faithful Fireworks. That's going to keep it going. But Urshifu's going to drop as well. They do lose out on one on each side at the moment. But now the Mew trying to get away from this fight. A little bit of HP. Both teams just kind of posturing, trying to determine if they want to push that through. Meanwhile, up at top, looks like Amaterasu is going to be able to secure down that Regieleki. And we'll see if that becomes a problem, or if they are going to be able to rotate up the top to go ahead and deal with it.
A trade of 1-for-1 for objectives means that Miracle Makers are doing quite well experience-wise in the bottom path, but the tough news is in the top path and in the score points. They are, the score points, that's what normal people say. They are having a tough time. Amaterasu with an exceptional lead in both regards. A level 10 Alolan Ninetales is certainly a tough threat to deal with, especially when they didn't even get that first base with Reggie. Nudo with a big engage on the surface, going to knock up multiple targets as now Yeet Fan is trying to get themselves in the action. No Unite move yet, ready to go down. So I Love Delphox can play a bit more aggressive, knowing that basically I click this button, you get knocked out option is still not there for Infant.
Yeah, Jail's trying to take away even more out of the central area and just trying to create some of this timing, but I do like the way how Miracle Makers has adjusted. They're not just allowing them to get whatever they want all the time. Levels are relatively close, all things considered. So once again, it just will come down to where they can find their levels, and if they could get their levels in time for the next Reggie objective, we'll see if they happen to go ahead and find one.
Yeah, we will have to see. Yeet Fan taking about half HP, misses the Cotton Guard, so no healing or shielding going for them, but Roland lines up 3. The Sludge Bomb Solar Beam combination dealing so much damage. Second one not quite finding its mark, but however the Buzzwole pushed out already out of this team fight. Boomy here to try to get some early pressure, but a Solar Beam makes them have to retreat for healing as well. Ridge still brought down to about half HP. His trainer gets an early Snow Globe, but Urshifu the one to secure it. Yeet Fan finds one. Buzzwole already down. Lapras on the outside of this battlefield, not able to get these Water Pulse procs as often as they need. Noodle locks down the I Love Delphox, and they are gone as Lapras unbelievably tanky until they're not, as Amaterasu cruises through all of Miracle Makers and finally breaks this bottom side goal zone.
I have no idea how Yeet Fan got out of there. It's like literally a sliver of HP, just saying, you know what, we'll let the rest of the team fight. I'm just gonna go take a nap real quick, make sure that I can go back home. They're gonna also send Buzzwole back, but yeah, it was just a good engage, trying to realize like what spacing you can get. And really punishing them for trying to chase Yeet Fan, trying to get out of there. At the end of the day, Amaterasu just got the best of both worlds. They were able to not only escape with all 5 of their Pokemon, but also be able to break that front goal at bottom and really take up a lot of space here.
Miracle Maker is able to put up a very solid defense in the early parts of this game in terms of making Amaterasu have to fight for every objective and making it close. However, Amaterasu in this situation getting their cake and eating it too, truly. Already, I Love Delphox is down. Yeet Fan uppercuts to absolutely nobody's. They've already found the knockout, and Latra is down next. Flowery Fields Forever lasted a total of 2 seconds as they are already brought down. Regieleki also not long for this world.
Yeah, they are going to go ahead and grab that objective, allow it to walk a little bit. And this is another threat that they have to deal with, but they happen to grab Slowbro. That is going to be really important for the side of Miracle Makers, maybe to just get a couple more levels going their way. But once again, like the rest of the team can really rotate and find out what they want. Oh no, I love Del Fox. You might want to get out of there. You got 3 of them rotating straight through. No, they are just going to take the buff instead. Just go ahead and pay them off. That might be the play.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you know you're in a tough spot when you say, fine, take my blue buff. I'll just get these ball toys. I didn't want the Asilgor anyways. You go ahead. Now, they are going to get in close. A Mystical Fire not in time to secure the Registeel a little bit early as Amaterasu was waiting for the Solar Beam cooldown to come up and get ready. Nudo almost at level 12 on this Slowbro. Very tanky Pokemon with that experience share is doing wonders for their squadron, and that means the smallest level on the side of Amaterasu is going to be at level 12. They've had 2 Registeel buffs so far this game, 2 Regieleki secured, and, well, they have over a 300-point lead headed into this final stretch.
Yeah, and it's going to be all up to Miracle Makers to really find a way in and, for a lack of a better term, make a miracle here. So we'll see what happens. Sludge Bomb into Solar Beam, dealing some of that damage from Amaterasu. Good job by Roland just to kind of zone them out for now. Trying to go ahead and bring down Boomy right now. Nudo just trying to absorb as much of the hits as possible. Just going to forget that he took that damage. That's how that works. They're just going to go ahead and walk around and just really zoning them out, eating up the clock, and just making sure that Miracle Makers cannot get in position to go ahead and grab this rate at all.
Yeah, extremely strong defensive positioning. Nudo basically surfing into that bush on cooldown. However, we have a bit of an engage in the back line. Buzzwole trying to get in a big knockout, and they find 2. Eldegoss finds some support, but does they really have the chase down to find the knockout? Solar Beam goes wide, finding absolutely nothing. Yeetman sends one Sky High. They get a knockout, but they are traded. Now Miracle Makers is in position. It is 4 versus 2 that are still up and running. Nudo gets a surf, and it finds the KO on Mew. They immediately pivot and slow beam. I love Delphox. Meanwhile, JL solo Q strats all the way to the enemy goal zone as I love Delphox goes down to an auto attack from Nudo. Latra could not out-heal the damage, and now all of a sudden Amaterasu is back, and Miracle Makers so close yet so far.
Yeah, they had such an advantage at that time, but just being able to buy so much time, Nudo just going in, not only securing a couple KOs for themselves, but also just making it tough for Miracle Makers to feel like they have the time and the space to go ahead and secure that Ray. And that is going to be it. They're going to call GG. Amaterasu. It's going to be moving on forward here in Double Trouble NA.